All right, this is my final for Interactivity 1, and I use mostly Face Tracker for multiple different things, and I want to walk through it to the best of my ability because there's a lot going on right here. Pretty complicated, but pretty simple. Um, First, I'm using like two webcams right now, and just so I can record. And eventually I will show you everything I did with this face tracker. Um, so I watched a tutorial on some face tracking on YouTube, which I wanted to emulate. I wanted a filter on my face, so whenever I move around, I have a filter that's covering my face, and I want it just so I can move back and forth. I have some sort of interactivity. I really like it when it glitches out, when I kind of go over to the side and kind of disappear. Um, but let's look at some of, so I have my main video in, and going in various different directions. Um, I want I wanted a pixelation on the body that's actually changing colors, and the colors are switching back and forth like the one project we did. You can kind of see it over here. That pixelation is changed over time with the switch, and I have like a few different colors. Um, it's kind of clunky at times. It's mostly on yellow. My favorite part when it like really glitches out. I have two different face trackers. The one is from the face tracker we did in class. I definitely wanted to use that. And that's like the background of the image of my 360 photo. But the other face tracker from the video I watched, um, there's so much going on with that. And here's the face tracker. And I have a bunch of different selects and different maps and a null. Um, we have this kind of cool geo face track that actually you can see it's tracking my mouth movements, and it's kind of freaking out right now because I'm using a different webcam for this part than what I actually use. I'm using like an external one. But when I created this, I was using my camera one. I don't know if that changes anything. It's doing this, it seems right, but I notice that it's out of frame a little bit and it kind of glitches out, but that's fine by me. Um, let's see. So I have like this JPEG mask that was honestly a little bit hard to kind of have it track. But since I did it once, I feel like I can do this again with just different JPEGs. Originally, I wanted a 3D model for it, but there's not a lot of tutorials. There's actually no tutorials online, and the learning curve I feel like it's a little bit above what I know. Um, so I just like took a screenshot of the 3D model I wanted to use and just put it through Photoshop. Here comes the fun part. after when everything was kind of all set, I really started to play around with composited and everything. Um, Especially with the color. There's like a lot of different color changes from movement. So the 360 photo is changing with color. So is my body and the movement. If you can see the Puerto Rican flag, they're changing from black to red. And there is a graphic I made that says decolonize Puerto Rico in the very back, which gets out of view just from the three kind of like um, the Hydra figures going back and forth as I'm moving around. So yeah, the multiple different color changes in my final, and I wanted to play around with the catch of my body movements that kind of have like that delayed reaction, which I thought was really cool. The one thing I did put on, which I had a few issues with, is I wanted the crossfire from the one project I did with the I Spy, and I wanted that to be tracked as well. Eventually, I'll show you. You'll see these kind of bullseye symbols that are look like they're trying to track to the face, but they're actually, if you can see it right here, they're being tracked with my movements too. And there's probably like a better way to do this, but I just took out my body, which you can kind of see the fragmentation. Um, I did a pretty good job with getting you see some pink kind of pixels, which is fine with me because everything's like so blown out anyway. Um, I think it just adds to the composition as a whole. Um, so yeah, two face trackers, a lot of changing colors. I'm actually using this for performance on the end of the month in Virginia for a show. So I'm going to debut this um, with a webcam with my laptop, and someone's probably just going to be around here the whole time. I'm hoping to have a um, webcam on a tripod, kind of onto a person, and whenever they're performing, they are going, their face is going to be tracked, and then I will be doing sounds and vocals as well. So that's where my time is going to be, and just so I'm hands free if this kind of messes up. But nothing crashed so far, so I doubt it's going to crash during the show. Fingers crossed. Um, but I want to put this in like in a view form so you can get a better look at this. There we go. I'm just going to cover it up a little bit, maybe make this a little bit smaller. Let's see. So the one thing I realized I have to learn how to project this with the projector and kind of connect it to HDMI, which I realize it's a lot different. You can't just go into this view, um, which eventually I'll learn. I still have time, but I really like this delayed movement. And then like the faces, you get like super up close, and then they kind of freak out when you're out of view. And you can kind of see those like crosshairs kind of symbol. The one thing is if I get really far back, the heads kind of like float off a little bit. which eventually I'd want to change. If I get up, you can kind of see it's really meant to be it's really meant to be up close and personal. But for the performer that is going to be here, that's why I need a that's why I need a tripod. This could work too, but I really just need a tripod on their face. Let me get out of frame so you can kind of see it without everything. And I'm back in the frame. Yeah, I keep on doing this. And I flipped on the right hand side. I flipped the camera just so it's mirrored. Kind of like a personal project I want to do is to use the Connect and do a full body, kind of trace each body part. And I guess the end goal eventually is to have like a 360 model that I can at least control with my movements and then connect sound to it. I'm not going to connect sound with this because the project would never get done. This is just like kind of like a siloed individual, kind of just one face track um, experiment. But eventually I want to do like full figures and each movement has like a sound to it. So for like solo performances, um, I can just kind of go crazy with movements that's attached to a sound. So yeah, this was like a pretty excited exploration of kind of little bits and pieces of what we did the semester, but also kind of like looking for like external tutorials on YouTube and use those. Which I realize there's not a lot for this type of stuff, um, and hopefully I can find something for like a full 3D tutorial, or if I figure it out, maybe I just have to make it and put it out there myself. Um, but this one's good. I really like when it like freaks out. That's kind of what I want. It's a little archaic in a way, kind of like if I go all the way up, like it cuts off like the middle face. I'm not a big fan of that, but I can live with it for right now. All right. I hope you enjoy. It was a great semester. Thank you so much.